And yes, peace and blessings and keep up the lessons. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Talib from the Brother Talib Show. And tonight, this evening, we're going to have a little nice session, inshallah, in dealing with the likes of Tawheed and Kufr. And Tawheed being, again, as I mentioned in my other live before last weekend, which is basically, from the understanding of the religious understanding point of view and English translation, Islamic monotheism, okay, dealing with pure monotheism, singling out Allah in worship and the likes of this. And then, we're going to be making a comparison kind of discussion, and it can also be a bit of a debate. But so there's going to be rules, of course, and we're not going to, cuss and be vulgar or get into any heated back and forth debates. This debate or the reason that I tried to do this live is to get some dialogue. So it's like a question and answering debating situation. So, we being the Muslims, those of you who are not Muslim that are going to be viewing can ask questions. And if you want to make a statement in what you think and understand or misunderstand about Tawheed or atheism, what have you, in relation to our faith, then we will give you an answer accordingly, and that's how we're going to do it. And it's going to be a debate of only 5 minutes if someone comes on the panel. And I'm going to put out the link for those who want to come up on the panel, besides the brothers that I'm going to have, like alhamdulillah, one of my brothers that we know in the community, the YouTuber space, YouTube streets, my brother Saeed, aka Happy Companion, is going to be here, and maybe the other brothers, Sajado Method, brother Abdullah, Sheikh Shabaka, Yahya Shabaka, and the likes of whoever else is going to be able to come in. We're going to, allow these things to go down and have everybody enjoying the good here, and also get some knowledge at the same time and disseminate a little bit to the people that don't know about the difference between Tawheed or Islamic monotheism and Kufr on the basis of atheism. Now, what I'm going to do first, I want to get into, a little bit of what Tawheed is first, and then there's going to be a question, and we're going to go into the basis of Tawheed, and I'm going to explain a little bit from what I understand and have learned from the people of knowledge, Ahlul Ilm. And then, also I'll have my brother, he's here, he's on the panel, and anybody who wants to come on the panel that wants to discuss the point in the matter of or understanding it better, then so be it. But we're going to have questions too, and the questions are going to be answered according to the knowledge that we have, and we will bring proofs and evidences with it, inshallah, to the best of our ability. And again, this is not a session of just going into argumentation. It's a session of dialogue and learning and understanding the difference between monotheism and atheism with Islamic perspective. Okay, so now what I will get into is that Tawheed had a basis of its understanding, its teachings, its like existence as a religious thought from the likes of one of the messengers and prophets of Islam, as we know. And Islam means submission, surrendering to the Creator, and believing in Him and worshiping Him alone. So this prophet that I'm mentioning, and just to read a little bit from, is Ibrahim alayhi salam. And this was in a class that I was learning with some student of knowledge that was teaching out of Sheikh, one of the noble Sheikh, Sheikh Fawzan al-Fawzan, Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, Hafidhullah, may Allah preserve him. He's still alive, alhamdulillah, and that he brought the 4 principles and explanation of these 4 principles. So one of the points that he brought was about Ibrahim alayhi salam in relation to monotheism, in relation to Islamic monotheism, because we got to understand that Islamic monotheism is clarifying monotheism being pure, okay? Because it's only for Allah. It's only for Allah to be worshipped, and there's no partners with Allah. There's no children, no son, no mother, none of that, so, or any female version of the being of the creator, the one who created all things. Okay, so we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, before I get into, I want to also open up first with the, the religious dua that helps us to protect us from the shaitan and gives us blessings, and and we send blessings upon the Prophet. So, Bismillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'in. So we send salutations on the Prophet and his family and companions and so forth, and the generations that preceded him. So rightly guided generations. Okay, so it says the obedience of Allah is to follow Allah's commands and to stay away from haram, hanifan. Okay, this is very important, because this is why Allah He created us to worship Him, like He said in Surah Al-Duriyat. Allah did not create man and jinn alike, but except to worship Him alone. Surah Al-Duriyat in ayat 56. Okay, so it says Hanifan is the religion. So Hanifan, and the name, one of the names, and I guess you can say attribute or personification of Tawheed, of the Islamic Monotheism understanding, and the one who understood it best at that time, in his time, was Ibrahim, and Allah gave him the name Hanif. This was a name that was given to him and is mentioned in the Quran. And Hanifan is the belief and following that what he was, which is the belief and surrendering to Allah. So Ibrahim believed in Allah and devoted himself to the worship of Allah alone, to single out Allah in worship. And the religion of Ibrahim is to make the religion sincerely to worship Allah. And Sheikh Fawzan says that you abstain from shirk, okay? And you abstain from kufr. Kufr is disbelief. So there's different levels, as we're going to get it. That was, I will mention a few from one of the other books of knowledge from Sheikh Fawzan, bringing another book on knowledge called Kitabu Tawheed. But one of the other noble sheikhs of Islam, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, had brought Kitabu Tawheed as well. Sheikh Fawzan followed behind in his understanding and following behind the sheikh, and also doing his own explanation and so forth like this. So that's pretty much it for that part in Tawheed. And I went over that a little bit in the first video from last week that we did, and we dealt with Tawheed and the difference of Tawheed and shirk. Okay, now shirk, the difference between shirk and kufr is not that much of a difference, but shirk deals with the clarity of ideology, idol worship, and sharing partners or taking partners with Allah. So that's the more understanding from that word shirk, dealing with joining partners with Allah. Okay, now with kufr, and I'm going to get into that real quick, and then we're going to go into the questioning. All right, it has various levels, but I just want to deal with reading, because it's better for me. Let me put my glasses on, because my eyes are a little weak and I got all these lights in my face trying to keep excuse my crooked glasses. So as we say, or as we go into, this is a book, the Book of Tawheed, which is compiled by Sheikh Saleh Al Fawzan. Okay, and it was translated by Mahmoud Ridha Murad. Okay, and this is his book that he goes into explanation. The chapter that we'll deal with is chapter 3, and I'm giving you these references so you can go in on your own and do your own due diligence, especially here, those of you who should be here or are here as Muslims, and those of you who are not Muslim, then you go and follow behind those who are Muslim to help you. And I think that's the best, the person that you can trust, that is a Muslim, whether in your family or somebody that is an imam in the community, and you might want to visit the masjid in your community and ask these questions and utilize this book's name and ask that you would like to go into that book if they have that book for you. So anyway, it says infidelity is if its definition and types, and definition is kufr. Okay, so kufr, according to the Sheikh in the translation, in the English translation, linguistically means covering or concealing, right? But it's also considered infidelity. All right, and covering and concealing is hiding, is rejecting, is putting it away out of sight or out of knowing that it's there and existing, right? So that's where we know also disbelief comes in. Okay, so legally, of iman for kufr or infidelity is disbelieving in Allah and His messengers, whether the disbelief is associated with denial or not, rather with doubts, suspicion, aversion, jealousy, arrogance, or following some whims which deters from adhering to the message. Okay, even though the denier's infidelity is worse than others. So, as they saying, so as he's saying, so is the one who disbelieves and denies out of jealousy, while he recognizes in his heart the veracity of the messengers. Okay, so they have different types of kufr. Okay, as the Sheikh brings the first type, and I only give you the first type for now because I want to go and keep on flowing with this. The first type is the greater kufr, which consists of apostasy and is of 5 kinds. Kufr of denial, as referred in the following ayat, and this is, I'm going to bring you the ayat in English translation, because the reading the Arabic and then reading the translation makes it a little long-winded. So and also sometimes I stumble as I read, so I don't want to just take up everybody's time. So English translation here, and it says, and who is more unjust than he who forges a lie against Allah or rejects the truth when it comes to him? Is there not an abode in hell for those who disbelieve? And this is Surah 29, ayat 68. Okay, so you look that up for yourself. And then kufr, and the second one is kufr of arrogance with acknowledgement, as proven by the words of Allah, the Exalted said, and this is, and when we said to the angels, prostrate yourselves before Adam, and they all prostrated except Iblis, who was too arrogant and an infidel. Because he, like I said, infidelity, he rejected, he hid and tried to cover over what is the correct belief that he's supposed to be upon, is obeying Allah and listening into him, following him, and doing what Allah tells him to do. When you don't obey Allah, then you put yourself in a state of disbelief as well. We don't know this, and Muslims fall into that aspect. Got to be careful with. Kufr of doubtfulness, as mentioned in the words of Allah. And he has entered his garden. Well, this is the story of the man, and to break it down and summarize, the man who that thought that his garden was going to be invincible and it was never going to go away, never be destroyed and perish. As I say, he said, "I do not think that this will ever perish." And he was talking to another believer that told him, it was his companion, a friend, told him while he was arguing with him, "Do you disbelieve in him who created you from soil, then from a sperm drop, then fashioned you into a perfect man? But as for me, I believe that Allah alone is my Rabb, and I will not ascribe a partner to my Rabb." So in essence, it's saying that he was ascribing his garden and that it was going to be invincible. Like Allah can't take that out, can't do nothing against it. Or he was totally in his mind with that mentality to think that he knew it all. And this is an arrogance as well. And then you have kufr of aversion, which is, the proof says, and those who disbelieve turn away from what they have been warned with aversion. And last but not least, kufr of hypocrisy, as proof. And these was let me go back. This was Surah 8, the following one that I just did about the man and his garden is Surah 18, verses 35 to 38. And then this last one I just did was 46 and verse 3. Okay. And it says, kufr of hypocrisy, as proven by the words of Allah, that is because they first believed, then disbelieved. So a seal was set upon their hearts, and consequently they do not understand. So that's Surah 63, verse 3. So those things, you can expound on it, you can think about it, and also those of you who want to come to the panel, as I will drop the link later. I'm just letting people come in and and be involved and get upon this, that what we're trying to do here. The basic thing, like I said, we're going to make a comparison of what is more important, or what do we think, as we've been given the proofs of what do we think that is better for humankind, for mankind to be upon mentally and spiritually, inside in their heart, because the heart is the main part of the being of the person, besides the unseen soul, the ruh that's in our body. So if the mind gets this knowledge in and it gets transferred to the heart and it settles there, then that's it. It's done. So we have to have the proper understanding and thought and understanding in when it comes to existence of the creator, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot go by just conjecture or go by just with, okay, what I think and intellect, only using our own intellect, which is imperfect. Okay. And then not using our instinct, and our instinct goes in line with the with our inner nature of that we all have an inner feeling that there's a being that has given us life. There's something out there. Even the agnostics, this is where their mentality of being a disbeliever is at, even though they don't believe in God, in the true being and the monotheistic understanding of the creator. They have that there's something. They believe there's something in the universe, in space or somewhere, that created and put all this creation into order, into existence. So, we have to know that our direction and where our focus is. And Islam and Tawheed within Islam, which is the foundation of it, gives us the best direction for it. And this is from the point of view of Islam and Islamic scholars and students of knowledge and the likes of people who are laymen like myself, who just trying to give off that which they've come with and brought better understandings following Allah's word and his messenger and his messenger's life, the Quran and the Sunnah. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just give me a quick minute. I'll let you. Okay. So if you notice, I posted up, and I want to get into to give you some aspects of what in our times today in relation to atheism, because I was dealing with Kufr, right? And my position and my point of view tonight, or my main focus, is on atheism, that part of Kufr, okay, which is what I read to you already, and basically broke down, gave you the back, the actual definition of the types of Kufr, which was kufr in denial, when these atheists, as you see these people up here, some of them do just that. They deny and they reject, and they make even lies against the creator, against Allah, okay? And they reject that there is even a hell that they will actually enter. They reject anything of Allah or the creator, a being that created humankind, as well as all the other creation on this earth and above it, the universe, as the monotheist beliefs, follow. And the main belief that established with the truth that's still preserved is Islam, and the last and final belief, which is known as Islam, and for last and final revelation, which is known as the Quran, and the last final messenger, which is known as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But all the messengers and prophets are acknowledged in Islam, and we fully, in a balanced level, accept that they all taught the same teachings of Tawheed, which is the opposite of shirk and kufr. Okay, and kufr is just another, it's like a brother to shirk, because they are synonymous and they share this same family of disbelief. And this is my position, or my way of giving an analytical or symbolism of it, a type of scenario, right? For you can understand. They're like brothers or related, okay, in disbelief, period, okay? And only thing is, with polytheism, or shirk is polytheism, so it is pluralism in worshiping the creator, okay, and joining partners with Allah. But kufr, on the level of atheism, in that part of it, in that aspect of it, is rejecting faith, period, not believing in a creator, okay? And this is what is my basic discussion tonight and want to deal with, because we dealt with shirk. Now we're going to deal with atheism. So as you see, you notice these are the faces of some of the main famous atheists of our times. Some of them a little older. You can see some faces is a female on one side at the bottom right corner, and she looks like from a little more like in the 40s or 50s. It was a photo done probably then, and the guy on the top maybe in his 60s, and the lady on the other side that's she's European. Most of them are Europeans here, and there's only, I think there's an Asian guy, and there's a I guess mixed a black woman or African descent or something to some aspect right down in the bottom, in the middle of this guy with the bald head, who is a well-known satanic or one of the fathers of Satanism. Okay. And this is why the point is of when it comes to atheism, where these people go with it, the path that it takes you on. It doesn't take you on a path of benefit or growth and good for yourself. Not about greatness, because see, misunderstandings of what people in our society think greatness is what shows proof that you're going to have a good life or you're going to be happy. No, it doesn't, because greatness, only the most great, or Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest. That's where that stays at, and it stays with him. We are not that great, and our lives don't end up always being great. We go through struggles. So people become depressed. People become very disappointed. That leads to depression, great sadness, depression, because they think they're great, or they think they can be great. But you strive for that. It's okay to strive for that, but don't think you're going to be the greatest. Don't think you're going to have everything and full control of your life, and that's what atheism does, because it's arrogance. And arrogance is a sense of blindness and aversion. And all what I mentioned to you, what they broke down, Sheikh Fawzan broke down about Kufr, that first aspect of it. Okay. So now what we can do here, we can go in and let our brother come up if he wants and ready. I think it says his device is not connected. So what I'll do, I'll go to and pull up the questions. Okay. And then we can start getting into the questions. Now, I already dealt with, and this is for the audience as well. I want to see if the audience understands. He dealt with, and this is for the audience. Sorry. I'm posting a question, and it's actually a poll in the chat area. So those of you who are in the live with us, please post your choice of whether it's yes or no. What do you believe as far as, or what do you think about that question? Okay. But the main question to the everyone here, and that you can come up, maybe, bro, if you want to come up, or if anybody here is also in this live. Well, actually, I only see two that's here in this live. Okay, so it's all good. We're going to keep it moving. And again, also, that we always say, I appreciate those of you who are watching, who are going to watch. Stay with me in this video. I know these lives sometimes be a little long-winded, but stay in. You don't have to watch the whole video all the way through for 2 hours. If I go 2 hours, I don't know if I will, but however long I go, we go. Try to stay with us. But if you can't, you can click out and go and save it and come back. You know what I mean? Finish it off later. Finish piece by piece if you want. Also, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe, because it helps the algorithm. It gives me a boost up to where I can basically get to be able to provide more content for more of you guys, and that will be more consistent, because my time will be more focused on doing this. Once I'm able to switch things up as far as income wise, then I can give more time to it. So I appreciate that you can do that. Click that like button, subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, then keep it moving, people. All right. So anyway, again, now the question again, it says here, what is Tawheed? And I went over it basically. And those of you, if you want, you can answer in the chat. If those of you are in the chat, I don't really pretty much see too many people in the chat right now. But This is nothing new. But anyway, let me give you guys some good information here. Okay. Oh, no, my man is here. Happy companion. Hold on for a sec. Let me just hold on. Put the banner up. Yeah. So this is the question is, and if you want to come up, bro, and add your contribution to it. The question is, what is Tawheed? Don't have to be very like long-winded, or it doesn't have to be a whole big full definition, because I already pretty much gave some of it. But your position of your understanding of what you understand Tawheed to be. Hold on for a second. Okay, got you up. Peace and blessings. All right,
brother. Okay, Father.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, did you hear me while you was in the backstage? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard like 99.99.
It's good to see you, man. You in the drive mode, being out there doing your thing, huh? MashaAllah.
Yeah, I was on the road and stuff, and I got your email, and then I was gonna go by the Starbucks across right behind me. I drive up here, so
I miss Starbucks. I haven't gotten to Starbucks for a little while.
Yeah. I hit that sometimes, and I've been visiting people. MashaAllah.
That's good.
For everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a good question you brought up, and it's not very. I think that mankind, we make it more difficult than what it is, bro. What Tawheed is. Tawheed is basically the one of the 5 pillars. If you think about it, the first thing you should believe in as a Muslim is only believe in God, believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that He is the greatest. I know Muhammad Ali, the boxer, he always said, I'm the greatest in it, but he didn't mean that he's greater than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a believer. So the thing about it is that we need to always consider the first thing is that who created us, why we created, but and what we do as believers, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We on here, everything that we do is for his sake, what I'm saying, to basically appreciate the things that He given us, because we don't realize what He gives us until we lose things. We lose our wealth, we lose our family, we lose our job, we lose this and that. Then we're like, wow, okay, let me start praying, let me start believing again, because wow. But when you're in that state and you have everything, your wealth, your family, everything, then you don't think of Allah. You think of what you have, those possessions.
Correct.
Those possessions is what your God is now, and that money, how you achieved it. You don't think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of how you
obtain it.
I agree with you. Sometimes I had to go pee real quick. Stuff for Lazim.
Okay, good.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Damn, but I'm just saying. And I like to say this because people don't realize, and it's not really funny, but it is, because I'm like, you have to go real bad. Oh man, is there a place I can go? You're on the road, you drop something like that, and then all of a sudden there's a store open, and then you go there, the store is like, oh no, you go next door. Then you find one. Alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Allah. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, and it's just as simple as just a call of nature. Even waking up, before you go to sleep and waking up, alhamdulillah, you're happy after you eat your food, eat your, you're thinking about Allah, because he's providing for you, and so that's what, basically, and for Tawheed, it keeps me in check. It keeps a person in check as regards to, mentally, spiritually. And so you don't be thinking you're the greatest, like you said, all that. So it keeps us in check as human beings, insane. And if we continue on this path, it's better, because it keeps us humble. It keeps thinking that, wait a minute, I can be punished at any time. I don't want to be punished, but we're gonna get punished. We get punished, yesterday. So yeah. That's what I don't want to go too far, too long.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, ya akhi. I appreciate it, and on some of what you said, it is totally true, especially even with the bathroom part. Even though it can seem a little funny, but it's real. It's what it is.
Yeah.
We ultimately are creatures and creation of Allah that have to, we have to submit to the call of nature. We have to submit to the things that Allah put within us. Our bodies needing water or whatever we imperfections we have, and that's the point of why Tawheed is so great, because it gives you the better understanding of who you are as a being on this earth. You know what I'm saying? How you should be. You know what I'm saying? How you should live your life. And following that being that created you and adhering to his guidance and his messengers that he sent. So, Tawheed goes within that, because the messengers, of course, bring Tawheed. That's their methodology, So yeah, you're right on that, brother. And it kind of leads into the question, which I can go into, because as we see, it's just I mean, I don't know how many people's in here, but I know I see only 2 up at the top. But we're here doing it, and we're gonna give it still regardless, inshallah. So and maybe some other people will come in soon. It says, what's the next one? So hold on, give me a minute. Okay.
I'm gonna try to share on my channel. I'm gonna try to share it then real quick.
Oh, okay, inshallah. Do your thing, inshallah. And this is the question, so we can get into what are some of the benefits of the belief in Tawheed. And we don't have to have a whole lot. We can just bring one if you have one scenario that you can use. And myself, I can say for me, when I was young, or younger, because I still consider myself young, but not as young as I was then. But I still got some youth with me, mashallah. But when I was younger, and I was dealing with the understanding of the creator, or why I was here, the problems that I didn't have a problem with, and I felt good that there was a being. And see, that was my connection with the inner nature, that I felt good about this monotheistic understanding that there was this being above, and not necessarily above how some people like say, oh, everybody, and even I had one guy, he, I had the outs with him and stuff with some of these other YouTube content creators, without saying their names, because I'm not here to throw people's names out and make issues. But it's funny that they don't come to these talks, but when I go to them and whatever, they won't come on and try to roast me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And roast me and try to get me off to the dean and get me caught up and make mistakes and errors and without saying their name. But this guy said something about the creator being some name, a derogatory name. He's put something that had to do Sky Lord or something like that. And I was like, this is how some of these arrogant, people who disbelieve in the creator, they make these understandings and these bad, negative slanders towards the creator that gave them life, but yet their inert nature, they call into nature, like you said. You understand, their inert nature, like I was saying, I was happy to have something to be able to look over me. But what happens with some of them, that they lose their faith, and then they become bitter to the creator because of bad stuff that has happened in their life, and not really realizing that they're basing their mentality now on that bitterness. You understand? So that's why they make these statements and so forth, because they might have had grown up in a family that was so-called religious, and then that family showed them that they wasn't that religious, or they saw from the outside into the society of things that people that claim to be religious, and then they become atheists, or they agnostic, they don't want to believe in God and so forth. So the thing is, I was always, back again to the point, I was always happy to know that there was something, and I didn't understand it as well as I was being taught as a Catholic, Roman Catholic young child, and then knowing about who's God and so forth. So I at one time came upon a situation where it built up my faith after the fact, that I couldn't accept too much about death issue. And that was like how some of these people who fall off from belief, because why do I have to die? Or why did my mother have to die? Or why did this happen? And why is this catastrophe happen if there's a God? All these different questions and stuff that they throw out there. And it's like, I call it blameworthy of the creator, blameworthiness of the creator, because they blaming Allah, they blaming the creator, the Most High, for the errors and or the struggles in their life and the harms that came to them and sadnesses. They don't understand that the creator gave us life with struggle. You know what I mean? But if you don't follow the prophets, you're not going to learn that. So, you know, being a person of rejection of atheism is what clarifies the benefits of Tawheed, the benefits of the belief, and that's just my position. You know. So, what do you say to that, Akhi?
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome.
You know, the benefits of it is, to me, it makes you a complete person. You know, once you was lost and then you're found. You know, I was once lost in the dunya and also in spiritually as well. I knew that even as a teenager growing up in the East Side, Long Beach, all that gang violence and drug dealing and all that stuff going on in the society, drug use, prison, death, people don't understand there's a battlefield going on. I felt like it's a war, going on. I felt like, there was something that kept guiding me to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the oneness of Allah. Because I could mention earlier, you see these, people worshiping the women, the guys worshiping the women worshiping the man, and the man going to jail because why? Because the woman's worshiping us men, and we have to provide that nice shiny car with the gold datings on them, provide, the money, we have to do this and that, and it's all superficial. It won't last. And so, and money is not going to last. A lot of people, they think they're going to take it. They're going to bury it with them in the grave, but it's not. They can't literally take it, but they can't take it to heaven with them. Or Jahannam. Jahannam. We don't know. But the fact is that it does make you, it gives you a solid foundation as far as like where you need to go, and the benefit that once you learn about Tawheed, you learn about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing for us. It makes us more grateful and humble, like I mentioned before, and like, wow, I found the straight. You keep us on the straight path. You go right, but right is a good way. Left is the bad. In that situation, but go the straight path and do the best you can. You will be successful and follow the 5 pillars. So that leads to the shahada, actually shahada, the praying the 5 times a day, the giving zakat, the fasting.
All for Allah.
Huh? All for Allah. The 5 pillars of Islam, so the benefit is that now you get to teach other people by your actions who were once lost, who are lost, and now they're found. I ran into this one Hispanic. I think she was white or Hispanic young lady here in LA, and she said she was a Muslim before. Or no, her husband was Muslim. He was Vietnamese from the Cham clan tribe. That's down there in Cambodia and Vietnam. And I'm like, wow, she didn't. They broke up or divorced or something, and then I gave her a prayer rug, bro. You know what I'm saying? She cover up and stuff, and I just gave that to her, bro. Because that kind gestures and things like that is a benefit. See, before Islam, I was a nice guy. It was okay, but now I know the benefits of giving charity, giving sadaqah, giving people to make and then you get rewarded for that, even when. Because I'm not seeking reward, but you're gonna receive reward, inshallah, with the good intentions. And just like the man or the woman who was in front of the mosque and they have the oud or whatever, if you walk in there, they rub it on you. Because why? If you want it, on you, you can have it on you, don't have to have it. But why is that? Because when you go into the masjid, it smells good. Allah wants us to smell good. We go worship Him. Okay, we clean our house. We cook nice food. We do all this kind of things when we have a human being come visit us, and we do everything we can we take a shower, bath, we get all this soap on, all this cologne and dooms, and then, for mankind. But for
Mankind.
Allah, pray and worship Him 5 times a day. We can't even do wudu, ablution. We can't ourselves properly, the way He wants us to do it, the way that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but He got His guidance of how to do.
Right.
The Quran, Al-Quran, it mentions to pray and all that, what we need to do. But the Hadith teaches the manner of what how to perform that ablution. So the
conditions, Quran, all of that,
the Quran and Sunnah goes hand in hand. That's why a lot of time mentioned. So that's a benefit of it. It makes especially from us from the diaspora who our ancestors were Muslims before. Before we got forced to convert into another faith that's not really based, that's not the same faith that other in Africa, North Africa, certain places that practice it. It's the same. It's one that kept bondage mentally and spiritually. And so now we waking up, we coming out of that, and that benefit of it is waking up, waking to the reality of when I learn, I'm gonna pass this on to my seeds, and my seeds are gonna do what? Hey, they're gonna try to practice this. They're gonna say, hey, and that's one thing I was having a talk with my daughter. She's basically graduating college. Mashallah. And so she was saying, Baba. She called me Baba. That means dad in Swahili.
Yep.
And she was in front of her friends and stuff, and she said, one thing about my dad is that he taught me how to be a Muslimah, and he told me, just by now I'm a better young woman because of my dad, because mom too, but he said my dad really was pushing it, man, sending to schools,
the good qualities and the good examples.
Exactly. I said, we got to save our daughters. We got to save our sons too, but our daughters, man. And so anytime I need to talk to her, she'd pick up the phone, no matter where, Africa, whatever. I got her. We got each other on GPS. On my I said,
I have the same thing. Yeah, I do that too.
I said, you want to know where I'm at? That's where I'm at. I'm over here in Jambin Jelly in the Gambia, over in Senegal. I'm over here. This is where I'm at. Follow my journey. Follow where I'm. And so that's a benefit of it. It's just like the most benefit is it's going to lead us to the Jannah. It's going to lead us to heaven. It's going to lead us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, brother. It's going to leave us, no matter how misguided. Sometimes we misguided by the society, the world. We get disappointed. We got ups and downs. But at the same time, we're going to be led to the Jannah. And that's important.
Ultimately,
Allah.
Naam, inshallah. And just as you're saying, and for our people, African American, African descendants, and African diasporans all over the world, is like you saying, is coming to understand and how we've been so taken away from our faith. Now, not in talking about the diaspora that made immigration from Africa and came to. I'm talking about the slave trade, even with the sub-Saharan slave trade with the Arabs. Okay, all these people who enslaved the people and took them away from their who they were. It was clear that what was taken away from us was also our beliefs. So, and even like today, they're pushing a lot about with the Hebrew Israelite thing and the Hebrew Israelite identity and so forth, but also the Muslim identity. But before that, when it comes to Tawheed, like you saying, and benefits, what you was talking about, is that those people, they always speak about the slave trade, and they don't speak about the people who came to Islam on their own accord. That without any compulsion, without it being of a slavery thing or being of that they, was forced, because Christianity was forced upon the slaves in America. We know that, and in Europe and so forth, right? And the colonialization, some of that also played a role in forcing and bringing forceful ministry after the ministries and the missionaries came, but then you came with the force, and then now they have to become Christian and they forcing them to. But with Islam, there was clearly plenty of times to show that these people was like, okay, well, we believe in these ancient teachings and ancient belief system of spirituality and acknowledging the ancestors and then these saints and so forth and different types of belief in that aspect. This is what we have as an African people. So when the monotheist Muslim came and spoke to them on the level of there's only one deity that's worthy of worship, and they got it in their language, of course, whether it was Swahili, Fula, or any of the languages that they was taught, that from that person who was giving them dawah, who was giving them propagation of the belief in Tawheed and the oneness of the Creator, Allah, who Allah was. They were like, wow, so he's one. So that means, and this is on a simplistic level, I only have to pray to one God, then other than praying to these other gods. And this one other God, if you don't pray to them, they get angry and they might take away this from you, restrict water from you, or you won't get no rain from this one, or you won't get growth of your plants from this one. You won't have fertility from this God and all these. So all I got to do is go to one God to get all of that, and he will give it to me as long as I obey him and worship him 5 times a day and do the other things. So they was taken. It was attractive to them, and it wasn't no war. It was trade and propagation. See, the people leave that out in the African diaspora when they talk their panels like we do and whatever they're spewing about the slavery and the oppression. Okay, it's there, we know, but what about when it was talked to them in a manner through trade and dialogue, talking about Islam? They question them. What is this belief you people come in and you look so clean and you look so bright in your faces and all these different understandings, and you're very knowledgeable and you seem to have a good system of trade, and as well being wealthy, because Allah blessed the Muslims in the lands, and Islam spread that way too, not just by the sword, not by force, not by enslaving people, and it wasn't only about that. Those was the smallest percentage when it came to the Muslims, But the point of saying is the Tawheed spreading into the world gave the world a better uplift than how it was before that, because there was a lot of war going on before, even in the times of Prophet Ibrahim. There was warfare, or there was people that were in ignorance, and they were not flourishing. Even though they lived, and Allah is going to give all his creation the existence to live as long as he chooses to, but didn't mean that they was living good, and they wasn't living in a position of where their mind and their soul was on a better wavelength with everything and in line with everything, like all the other creation is. You know what I'm saying? So that's the benefits there, man. There's plenty of benefits. We can go on for a long time. We won't have enough time. So, but yeah. So go ahead, Akh. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna go into the next question, and then I kind of, like I said, I opened up an introduction of it, but now we get to speak on it a little bit. And what the next question is what is Kufr? Okay, so I brought the religious on one of the religious terms. One of the sheikhs, explained it, and then gave my understanding, of course, from that which I understood from the sheikh and any of the other scholars that bring the same consensus of the understanding of Kufr. But basically, disbelief is what it is, and this is my position in understanding it on a basic level. Disbelief, and for this actual discussion in live, is basing on atheism, and that's the point from what I'm bringing here. And so, what do you say to that? I could say one thing first before I even go into that, because I posted up. Before I let you actually, I'm going to post it again if you didn't see the post of the people that were. Hold on for a second, I gotta get it. Hold on, give me a minute here, bro. The people that it's few people that are and were. I don't know if they still living, all of them, but I don't know them personally like that. You know what I mean? But these are the pictures of some of the people of atheists, and some of them are outspoken. One of them, and I have a list of some of the outspoken ones, and it's so people know, so you have knowledge. This is an awareness, and I've always do my videos, and my videos is of awareness. Happy Companion as well. He's a brother. He has his channel, and so don't forget to subscribe to him if you're not already subscribed to the brother. And he does repat information, and he has a business and so forth. So subscribe to him, get his information and so forth. But he's all about information. He's all about helping and giving knowledge about the people of self, knowledge of what you are, who you are, and where you need to go. And, hopefully you'll get there, inshallah. So, but it's basic. And with this session here is based on our faith. It's based on our belief as Muslims first. And those of you who are not Muslim, then you get the gist of how we understand about the Creator, what we believe in. Okay. So what is Kufr? Is basically breaking down from, like I said, atheism. So you got plenty of atheists in these times, and then even a little bit before some of us, and you can see the pictures right there. And like I said earlier, one of them, actually, the picture is an actual Satanist. He's the one actually main leader and one who even started it, So we got to look into that and say, wow, that's atheism, where it goes. But I don't know anybody that is a monotheist that is an atheist. That is a Satanist. He can't be. It just can't be. So those people are joined with each other. So then you have like outspoken atheists of our times, and I mentioned their name: Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, Sam Harris, Peter Singer. Okay, and these guys been in debates, and they have their books and so forth and like this. But at the end of the day, it's clearly proof to show that they're not going to be able to take away the realities of their existence, the realities of their existence. So Kufr takes you away, as it means to hide or to make like it doesn't exist, right? And that's what they do. Now, how can you make something that's not existent and you exist? So it's like it's conjecture. It's like you're going against yourself. You're going against your reality as a person who's an atheist, who doesn't believe in the Creator. How did you get here? And then they get into that, and now they want to use scientific understanding, scientific theory. They want to use theory of evolution. They want to use the Big Bang theory. They want to use, and these things have been proven now today that there's questions and there's holes in some of those theories, because they were theories that were really never proven fully. You know what I'm saying? A theory. What is a theory? It's a scientific idea. It's an idea, right? So if the idea ain't proven to be facts, that's that. You know what I mean? So what do you say to that, bro?
Yeah. During the time of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you had mentioned that people was hey, I'm worshiping God. It makes sense. It's easy. But you also had those who were very, very into shirk and kufar. Those were trying to kill the believers. Because they're so brainwashed. They also had the idols inside the Kaaba and worshiping them. A rock or stone. You feel me? So that mentality is still rampant in those individuals that you see now, because they want to be more than a normal human being. They want to find an answer to something that doesn't even need to be explained. It's already explained in the Quran and the Sunnah. So why, especially the Quran, about the universe, about why it's, different types of information that's in those books in the Quran, and so these people are trying to go in more deeper than is necessary. Who really cares about something exploded and then made, is that really important? Is that, it's just, so those are so-called intellectuals. And the best intellectuals I think for me are the Islamic scholars and people who keep, those are the intellectuals that are trying to help mankind a lot of these people right there, they're the ones who make big bombs and try to exploit, kill mankind. You know, those are the ones who try to make, you know, like you said, the Satanists and stuff. See, I knew, you know, when I about maybe a year, two or something, maybe within a year after I made my shahada, I became a Muslim. There was a white American couple who were Muslim. They had kids, but you know, we had I had a conversation. We was all talking and stuff. This is years ago, and they was like, yeah, we were atheists. We was a marriage who were atheists. I said, what? Yeah, we didn't believe until we read the Quran, and we was like, wow, this makes sense. The Quran would make a disbeliever, atheist, a kufar, you know, into a believer. Right. You know, and just by reading the Quran, a lot of people haven't read the Quran, so they don't even know what it's about. They don't, and so what exactly? And what happens? They see us as mankind, as Muslims, who are like we say, laymen or scholars, or the people who just judging us and looking at us as the answer to Islam, which it is right to a certain extent, because
right,
we'll let you know that we have some this way, but you know, and those who lose sight on monotheism, the la ilaha illallah, you know what I'm saying? Allah, they are the ones who you are seeing in a lot of ways, and those are the ones playing that almost like disbelief, because sometimes because you have that name, you can Abu Bakr doesn't mean that you know, you fall in that path. So so when they start reading the Quran, which most people, including myself, other people, they like, wow, this is Islam. They talk about Isa alayhi salam. They talk about people, you know, the Adam all the way to you know Ibrahim, you know, all the Sahabas. I mean, not Sahabas, the prophets. And so they just there, you know, it inspires them, because there's been a veil put up against mankind to fight Islam and to go against Islam. It's media in everything, all aspects of it. It's like a social media personal war against the deen, because that people know that people who practice certain other faiths, they don't want people to go into the Islam, because Islam shows it can outshine a lot of what they're saying, you know. And that's one thing, and not to go against the other faiths who people are practicing. Just let you know, when you start reading the Quran, you start seeing, and you start just the 5 pillars of Islam. If you can get to the 5th, that's fine. But just the praying and fasting, you know, if there's some people who pray, you know, some people pray if they follow, you know, even if they don't pray exactly how we pray something, they will see a difference probably, you know, see a benefit of it. They break it up, they break it their time up to take time off to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Most High. A lot of people I see, even on the tube, they starting to say Allah. You know, African diasporans that I see who weren't doing that before. They moved to the Gambia, they go back and forth. They start to see it now. They make, some of them became Muslims. I didn't even know that. So my you know, the Kufr, you know, is someone is someone, like you said, is in disbelief, although mankind was born in submission to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the reason why we use the thing revert. But there's some people who Allah would accept those and choose those who he wants. And if he chooses you, like he chose you and he chose me, you know, he chose Sheikh Yahya Shabaka, he showed Sajjad Method, he chose well, you know, all of us, you know, who were reverted, who have to declare our faith in at the masjid and stuff, that we are Muslims, just like the video I had the other couple of weeks ago. You know, he choose us, and we have to live up to what we chose in the deen. It's not easy when you first start. Sometimes, you know, you got a lot of distractions, a lot of people, you know, who are distracting us. It's the Kufar. which we were Kufr. They distract us. They don't want us to go, and they don't want us to see the change in you.
No.
See, you know, your beard growing. They don't want to see us rocking kufis, man. They don't want to see that. They want to see the boyish face. They want to see that going on. They don't want. They don't. You know. We are meant. You know, men. If you look at it, all the. You know, I don't go into videos and movies, but if you go into the movies and videos, I mean, as far as when you see these religious videos, Christians and whatever, most of these brothers, they had beards.
Yeah.
They were wearing beards.
Yep.
They were, so, you know, but we look at it as now as a radical.
Mm-hmm. But now it's becoming trendy. It's becoming trendy a little bit now. You even see the athletes with it,
Yes, especially like in Philly, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, bro, I went through Philly one time, and I was in Newark. No, Newark. That's New Jersey. I actually went to New Jersey, and I went through Philly, but in Jersey, Newark, you know, I see the brothers rocking stuff. I'm like, you know,
regular, and they might not be Muslim.
Exactly. Yep. The brother said, "Oh no, I'm not Muslim, bro." I'm saying, "Man, are you sure?" No, I'm not Muslim. Same, you know. So subliminally, even when we say, "Yo, peace up, peace out," that's salam.
Right.
We already got that. We already got Islam in us. You know, as far as like the learning of it, the teachings. I mean, the inside of it, it's passed down to us because, you know, we weren't able to practice it on the plantation.
Right, of course. And then,
so
and
go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. Go, yeah, and you can continue if you want.
No, go ahead, brother.
And so I was saying, like, because everything you were saying, that thing was clicking. It's like, this is so true, is that when with Islam, and it connects with being upon Tawheed and Kufr. The people of Tawheed over the times have always been rejected throughout centuries, and that's what prophets are the main ones, messengers of Tawheed, messengers of the oneness of Allah. Abraham himself, you know, how he, you know, what he went through with the disbelievers. His own father tried to, you know, harm him because he was against the idol worship and the paganism and stuff like that they did. So today is almost pretty much the same. That's why you call the secularists. You know, a lot of those atheists, that's their methodology. That's their way, is secularism. You know, and they promote that, they push that in the media, everything like that, and it's anti Allah, it's anti-God, it's anti-creator. It's not even to have a belief system for the nation of the people and the citizens in their country to believe in a creator, but to believe in themselves and believe in the government and believe in the laws of the land. That's it. And follow your desires to your fullest. This is what we're seeing. And we see that now. You know what I'm saying? But listen to, like, real quick, and as you go and do what you got to do, listen to what this, listen to what they're saying about the messengers. This is a book from Islamic Creed series called The Messengers and the Messages in the Light of the Quran and Sunnah by Omar S. Al-Askar. Okay, so in this part is, I'm gonna just get into a little bit. Then it says the need of mankind from the messengers and their messages. Okay, and why this methodology or this ideology of what they bring is Tawheed and Islam to the people is always rejected and has been rejected, and because the people want that, they want to be in control of their own life, and they want to be able to live out their desires and not be held accountable for any of that which they do. But when the regret comes and they fall in those desires that they try to live out, even when they want to conquer lands and do harm to people and think that they can control the world, and then they find out the hard way and they got diseased or something comes upon them that they're now in a wretched way. And we know in Islam, they say Allah debases you. So you're in a wretched way, or you into the street life and the gangster lean, and you living like that vicious life like that, harming people, taking people out, selling drugs to your people. And then you come to find out later and you get a harsh reality and a harsh reckoning that you end up in your grave, or you end up in the bed and you got shot up or whatever happened to you, or you lost one of your loved ones and so forth. All these different things that bring to these people to understand. It says here, and the people in the past used to argue with the messengers, reject their teachings, and turn away from them. Mankind today in the 20th century, when they have reached the pinnacle of material advancement, penetrated the depths of the oceans. This is the atheists, okay? Gone far into space, split the atom, okay? Scientists, and many scientists have atheist mentality, atheist ideology. Some are Muslim, so those ones who adhere to the Islam, and it is balanced. It brings the correct understanding of what science should be used for, and science is the study of matter, it's the study of what Allah created. That's it. So it says, penetrated the depths of the oceans, gone far into split the atom. That's science again, like I said, discovered many of the natural forces, right, which exist in this universe, going and doing all like National Geographics and all these exploration and finding and this and that and studies. All of this are even more in conflict with the messengers, because more emphatically rejecting their teachings and turning away from them even more today. Mankind's attitude today towards the messengers and their teachings, which was upon Tawheed, is like that of wild donkeys when they see a lion. So what do? They flee from it without paying heed to anything else. And this is from what the Sheikh brought, what Allah says. Allah says, then what is wrong with them? This is in Surah 74. Okay. What is wrong with them, the polytheists and disbelievers, that they turn away from receiving admonition, meaning a warning, and to stay away and take heed and stay away from these bad doings and follow and obey and follow Allah, right? It says, as if they are frightened. They frightened. It's like, why do they go so hard on monotheism? Why do they go so hard on belief in the creator and the God? Why? And they flee from it as like it's a hunter or a lion or a beast of prey. This is what Allah says. So mankind today, more than before, refuses to submit to the messengers and their teachings because they are too proud of their knowledge and are too arrogant to follow men who lived centuries before, right? And this is clear. And look at thank you for coming, cute niece. I just wanted to give, look into the comment section again and give some acknowledgement there. I appreciate you coming, and peace and blessings. You keep up the lessons. She says here, black magic, leaving the salat, fornication, and adultery can cause kufr. And this is correct. It can take you out of the fold of Islam. And this is like one of the Sheikh Muhammad ibn, Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Baz has a book on this, things that nullify your Islam. And I read some of that book, and it was a durus that I sat in with one of the students of knowledge that I take from in these states that spoke on this understanding. And it's very serious how people can take themselves out of the fold of Islam and find themselves in a bad way with Allah, because some Muslims don't realize, but that's where shirk comes in, and it causes misguidance. But your actions have to be purely for Allah. So black magic, to break it down, is a form of disbelief. When you get into that, you fall into disbelief automatically, because why do you need magic? Even though we know from Islam, and there's understanding that we know that the malaika, certain malaika, Marut and Harut, came down and was sent down to teach a certain sect or certain people, if I understand the understanding and the narration of it, that only those particular people was taught that what they know today as magic or sihr, right? But it's not known as what it is today, black magic, or doing these incantations and spell works, right? But they were taught for a reason to that which they was taught, and there was restrictions when they learned it, and was not for them to teach the regular of the societies of man, that they was to teach this. So, but it spread, it got out, and it got in the wrong hands, and now we know we have black magic, or we have, even they call white magic, it doesn't matter, witchcraft, so forth, right? And some of these people, they may have watched videos like certain people like us who speak about monotheism and the God of the one, the only chosen being that we have to choose in our life to worship, because if we don't, then we're worshiping a false God. So magic is almost like a false god. So this is kufr. When you believe in magic, thinking that it's going to be able to help your life and change things and do things for you, you have to make spells, you have to do these things in different maneuvers. Other than that, your Lord is the one who has control over your life, and your destiny. And that's another thing. People who believe and say, I am the master of my destiny. This is disbelief. Allah is the master of your destiny. The creator is the master of your destiny, because only he has your destiny in his power. We don't have control over our destiny. We don't even have control to not get sick, let alone our destiny, that we don't know the future. We know the past because we lived it, but we don't even know the future. So how are you going to know and how are you going to be the master of your destiny? Your destiny is something you're going to come about eventually. It's going to happen to you. And ultimate, what everybody's destiny is that we're going to meet Allah. Everybody's destiny until after that day, the day of Yom Qiyamah, and that's what Islam teaches. And that's what Tawheed teaches, because Tawheed brings you back to your Lord. Mentality brings you back to connecting with Allah and knowing he's the one who has the last word on the day of Yom Qiyamah, and you're going to be judged, by him. So, and we return to our grave, or we die first before that, but that's our destiny ultimately right there. So how do we have mastery over it? So there's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of people just saying things. People don't base no true facts, no true basis of proof and evidences. You're not, and Allah has given us two different types and blessed us with two different types of intellect. The intellect of intelligence, having knowledge, and the intellect of instinct. We're not like the animals, and that's the point that separates us from the animals too. For those people who are in Darwinism and into theory of evolution, and survival of the fittest type of mentality, that we come from animals, we're animals. No, I don't believe that stuff anymore. And as Muslims, we shouldn't believe in that. You go to these science, you go to these educational systems of college and university life or what have you, and you learn about science and you get into that philosophy and science and all that, and it takes you there. You got to be careful as far as being a Muslim, because they might take you out of the fold of Islam with that stuff, because they're telling you that you're an ape, and Allah's telling you're nas, you're mankind, and he's giving you intellect more than what the animals have. The animals only have instinct. They only have that way of thinking and understanding and being able to connect with their surroundings. Is being able to know the wrong and being able to know the right is by their instinct alone. But for us, we have knowledge, we have intellect and instinct. So those things have to be in line with what you say you believe. So if you are disbelieving your kufr, you're on kufr, and that means you're not using both of those things. You might be using your intellect and think, oh yeah, my mind is superior. I'm the superior being in my mind. But yet you can't stop your disease. You can't stop diseases, and you blame God for it. And then you say that what you don't do or what you don't see actually taking place, which is your instinct, is telling you this is what it is and this is what is not. But you reject that. You fight against your own self too, and that's what is sad. But thank you, Cute Niece, to break in. I broke into that a little bit of black magic, and then you leave your salat, then you can take yourself out of the fold and be upon kufr. So I appreciate that, Cute Niece. You're welcome. Thank you as well. Okay, so what do you say to what is it? Where are we at actually? Oh, okay. We was on a question of what is kufr, but so pretty much we kind of covered that, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, we covered that. So. You mentioned, I like that what you mentioned just now too, is that the type of science, we Islam doesn't forbid science,
no,
astronomy, all this type of things, because that's part of, it's not evil technology per se, but right. These people can take you out of the fold of Islam if you believe in what they're saying. The technology, if you want to go to Mars, may not be a problem. You want to go to the moon, that may not be a problem. But if you start worshiping God or worshiping the moon as a god, then you have a big problem there. And so, or you start worshiping technology and thinking that, oh, I can do this. I can go to the moon. I can go to Mars. mankind is we you know,
Yeah.
who created
Or they leave out, I'm sorry, or they leave out the existence
yeah.
of the creator in the science. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Mm-hmm.
smart. That's perfect. And that's what
Right.
I'm saying. You know, is that they you know, we you know, I used to see a bumper sticker on a lot of cars. It says, "Worship the creator, not the creations."
Mm-hmm.
Not what
Yes.
we created. And that's what happens is that we start to marvel at the science and say, wow, we got a spaceship that's going here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But who gave mankind that knowledge to build
That's
craft,
it.
to
That's it.
go to the stars and whatnot? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most high, did this. And that's what happens to man. We start just like, I guess, in jail when those are the Torah, when
Right.
Musa went to the mountain, talk, so you know, and then told him not to worship the graven images, took him out of Kufar Shirk. Then
Right.
all of a sudden, he comes back, and they got a gold calf. They partying, wine, and Jahiliyyah. You know,
Return right back.
turn right back. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we need guidance, man. That's why we need to keep reminders. That's why a man needs to be the husband, the father needs to be the imam in the house to keep that the family on that path, bro.
Yep.
And in our zawja,
That's it.
you know, zawjat, they needs to be there supporting that, you know, backing it up, not going against the grain, not going against that, and then that's what unifies it. And so that's what happens. And then, like you said, hey, I was in a situation, brother. I tell you, and I told him on my channel too, you know, when it comes to jobs and stuff like that, you know, if you're fasting because it's Ramadan, right, and people are trying to make you eat while you're fasting, and if you and you get like almost punished for fasting or ridiculed for you because you're not eating with the people and you know all that, is a job really worth it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a job, you're a God, you know, or you know, I'm much more happier in Africa, and even coming back and doing what I'm doing, creating my business, started up here, and you know, bringing it up there to the continent again. You know, I feel like, you know, and that's what I'm doing. I took a break, but I feel like, you know, we have to keep that in mind so we can change things ourselves, huh? We can change things ourselves. Hey, PVTV, I think we got something to at what in a couple hours. You know,
Yeah. Peace and blessings, PVT.
I got to chop it up with people in a couple of hours. Some people.
Okay.
So that's something that we have to consider, and that's a test. Allah will test you. Are you gonna eat to get and break the fast just because to eat with some kufars or some atheists or whatever? Because and you can be a kufar, you can be atheist all you want, but don't try to take me from my path. Don't try to take me from my deen. The deen to save my life. Okay, don't do that. And so so that's a lot of things that people don't know about what the kufar mindset can do to people.
Yep.
Yeah, you know they want you. People want you to practice to do what they want you to do what they're doing, and then they be pleased. Okay, they will not be pleased until you leave your deen. You
Yep.
know, and
That's
so
it. That's in the Quran.
it's in the Quran. Am I right, bro?
Mm-hmm. That Allah says is that's what the kuffar will try to do to you, especially the ones that really want to do. Because not every non-Muslim is going to come against you in your faith, but there are those that do. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so that's what the scientists are doing. That's what all that doing. So I was watching a movie, I forgot what it was called, and this dude said he left religion for science. You feel
that happens a lot.
It happens a lot, huh? You know.
Yeah. Now with Islam, most Muslims don't, but some Muslims do. But with the other faiths like the Christianity and even Judaism, a lot of them do make that way, especially being engulfed in societies like America, because it's a secular society. It's not a God-based society. You know what I mean? Secular, even though they have plenty of diversity of different religions here to be able to be practiced, but you know, we know what it is. You know the deal. But speaking of such,
yeah,
with this Hebrew Israelite thing, man, being in the propaganda that's been going on and stuff. The negative, of course, as we know, what happened with Kyrie Irving a little more, as well as Kanye, but or Ye, as he wants to prefer to be called. That is showing to me, as you were speaking, what you were saying, that there is an awakening that is really, really going on with our people, and it's like if they are because the Hebrew Israelites, as we know from the father of monotheism, as it being an ideology, Ibrahim, as I mentioned in the beginning, and talked about, he's the father of the Hebrew Israelites, of course, grandfather to them, and then you have Ishaq, which is the father, as they know, and they gave him the name, the namesake of Israel. But and then he had his children, his son Jacob, and Jacob had the 12 tribes, you know, and so forth, and then his sons. So, but Ismail is the son of Ibrahim as well, and then you had, you know, his people and the Arabs mixed like that. But both Afro, you know, we know that they're both Afro-Semitic peoples, and now we're getting this rejuvenation or this awakening of our people coming back to the core of Tawheed, the monotheistic. Now there's different angles and different paths that they're taking, but they're doing it.
Yep.
But you know, unfortunately, because of the shaitan, he's tricky, so he keeps the falsehood mixed with some of the truths on those ends, and those people are still like they're on the cusp. They're not right in it yet. But that's why we say why the dawah and calling them to Tawheed is so important. Number one, as the Prophet has taught, and the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught that is the first thing. And many of the scholars said it's the first thing that we have to bring is to the people. And that's my point in this whole discussions and bringing these debates on first dealing with our faith as far as the foundation of it is Tawheed, how important it is. But how Kufr, how we can understand it and know better so that you can make your decision in your life and say, especially Muslims should know better. But for those who are people or viewers that are our non-viewer viewers and so forth, non-Muslim viewers, that you can see and say, okay, well, you know, they're right. And you might be a Hebrew Israelite, you might be from the Christian faith, but you got to come on what is truth. You got to follow what is clearly the truth. So this is where Islam brings upon when it comes to that, when it comes to our Creator. But let me get into go ahead, Ak. I'm sorry.
Got me sparked now, brother. Let's keep it. You know, if you think about what's going on with Kyrie Irving, what's his name?
Kyrie Irving and Ye or Kanye West.
You know, I feel like, you know, not only, especially Kyrie Irving, he's being bombarded not only with Kufr, but racism and Kufr mixed.
Yeah. Yes. And they try to leave that out. They try to make it that it's just he, you know, people who are denying him as being one that he can speak about, you know, the Hebrew Israelites or the Jews or the whatever, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So if we mentioned dietary, you know, as far as fasting, now the Hebrew Israelites don't eat pork.
Right.
So can you imagine what they go through sometimes with the Kufar,
ridicule,
at this, at that? You know, that's a lot of there's a lot of how can I say it? Somebody just texted me. I got distracted for a second. But that's what's going. I mean, but that's what's going on in their lives as well. You know, and him. You know, and people who try to deliver the message of monotheism, of how he, you know, to, you know, wherever you want to say they believe, because it's an Afro-Asiatic language, you know,
Ibrahimic.
And so, you know, the Arabic and the Hebrew, you know, those are part of our indigenous languages as well. But see what happens if you notice that the Kufar the people who disbelieve in Islamic monotheism, guess what they do?
Divide and conquer.
They divide and conquer, trying to say it's not an Afro-Asia, it's not an African language, it's not part of it doesn't come from Africa. So, you know, what we believe in, you know, is a little bit more authentic, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so they're trying to take us out of that, and to divide the Hebrew Israelites and Muslims, you know, from combining and joining. I always give shout outs to Hebrew Israelites. And the reason why I do that, because we suffer into the same type of stuff to a certain issues to a certain extent, but we also, and I'm not talking about the ones that say death to America and all that. You know, I'm not down with that.
We don't deal with them. We know the boundaries.
We know the boundaries. You know, I'm talking about the ones who are peacefully trying to make their way to Domana, you know, in Dimona. I'm sorry, Dimona, Israel,
and following the origin of their faith. You know,
exactly,
Judaism,
exactly. You know, and when I see, I live in Oman, I've been to Saudi, I've been all over the Arabian Peninsula, East Africa, and I see the indigenous, like I said, indigenous Africans, that people there, they look like me and you, just like in the Philippines, just like all these other places, the people who are indigenous to those countries, they are African, they're Black from descent. And so people don't see that. I'm not trying to get on a race card, but what I'm trying to see is that when you talk about Kyrie Irving, is that he's been attacked simply because certain people have other people in control and claiming that they're what they are, and that they denying what our ancestors were too. Both sets of people, two main sets of people was on those ships, Muslims and Hebrews. And our descendants come from, you know, from both of them. And so now we're learning it. See, I didn't really take that to heed before, and now I'm starting to realize it now. You know, I'm saying, oh, okay, you know, it comes to different stages with us, different phases of life. When the truth comes to us, you got to adhere to it. I know I'm a Muslim, okay, but I can't deny, and I can't deny the past and other things too. That's going to make us divided as insane as people anyway, you know, who are on it, because I mean, they're the people of the book.
Right, there you go. And that's why Allah said in the Sharia that we have they have rights over us as well as we have rights over them. And some of them choose to live in our lands, then are ruled by Muslims. They have to be protected. So there's certain, like they say, the jizya. Some people say, well, you'll make the, you know, that's one of your discriminations against the non-Muslims, is you'll make us pay taxes. We pay taxes here, and doesn't have no discrimination. This has to do with the secular system of this country, and everybody has to pay taxes, no matter who you are, what religion you are, and so forth. So if you live in any land, you're gonna pay taxes. That's just what it is. So when the Muslims did it to protect the people and give and uphold their rights to be protected from harms in that land that they lived in. You understand? So they didn't understand that, but Allah gave that rule, and His messenger enforced it. You understand? So that's the things that we got to take into consideration sometimes. But hey, if Akhi, I think you might have something you're supposed to be doing in a little while or something. Yeah, it's okay, man. No problem, brother. Do your thing. I'm gonna keep on moving. I got a few minutes left anyway, so I'm gonna keep it going.
Well, I sent the link to the brothers too to join, especially Shadid and everybody.
Okay, so what I can do is I could close out in a little while, and then, you know, just pop me the link, you know, shoot me the link so I can go onto your
No. The link I posted a link to the brothers, your link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, not the link. I shared the video so people so they can get on, bro.
Oh, okay, inshallah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in different time zones with the people I'm about to talk to. I thought I had another hour or so. But
do your thing, Ozzy. It's good. Because I still got some content left. So like I said, I usually take it to 2 hours anyway. So
do your thing, brother. If I get back on
this, barakallah fikum for coming. I appreciate you being here, man. Yeah. All right, Afro. Inshallah, I'll speak to you soon.
Hold up. Subscribe to Bro Talib's channel, man. Everybody do that, man. This guy is always loyal to my channel, man. He's on it. When it's time to do it, he's on it, fam. And so we need that kind of dedication in our lives, man. So I came on to support this brother channel. I know I'm busy today. He's busy. We always busy.
Yeah.
But I take time.
Inshallah, we'll be crossing each other's paths sometime. I don't know. You're in the States now, so maybe we could. Who's to say?
Inshallah.
You know? All right, Akhi, man. You be safe and barakallah fikum. Jazakumullah khairan for coming. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, that's my beautiful brother, happy companion, aka Saeed Abu Bakr. Yeah, so I appreciate him coming, and I appreciate all of you who's here as well. Yes, and don't forget to click the like button while you come in, and those of you are in, and subscribe. Now, to finish up, you know, really much, I was the last question that I was dealing with, which was here. Are there some benefits of kufr? Or again, like when I spoke in the early part of this live, we were talking about kufr being disbelief and in essence of atheism, because there's other different breakdowns that I spoke on, and I used Sheikh, a scholar of Islam, to bring from out of his book a breakdown on what kufr is. But there's different aspects of it, you know, just like there's different aspects of shirk, which is polytheism in the English translation of it, and Tawheed, which is Islamic monotheism, pure monotheism. Okay, so basically, from my position, and any of you, I posted the link for any of you guys to come up, and I'll hit it. I'll post it again for you, the link for the to come in on the panel. And if you want to have a question or you want to speak on your point that you can bring as well in relation to this subject matter. And so, as it says, are there some benefits of kufr? Are there some benefits of disbelief? And we don't know of any at all from the people of monotheism. We definitely know that the believers, even as myself, I'm Muslim, but I know a Christian will speak the same. I know a Jewish person or a person of Judaism will speak the same. And these are the faiths that we know that are clear in understanding of what monotheism is. Now, of course, Islam has been purified of the dismantling of those pureness of monotheism in the other faiths, as Judaism and Christianity, because of certain things, additions, and people manipulating the truth and then bringing in other aspects of other teachings that I'm not going to be getting into in detail here. But the point I'm saying is that there hasn't been any proof of any benefits. Only thing that the people with that ideology has done is that they built nations, secularism systems, and in that secularism system, it had built up modernized living from the primitive living before secularism, as we know. And you had secularism in its early times with the Greeks and the Romans and so forth, and even the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians, stuff like that. But in the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians, they had more shirk stuff going on, more enjoining partners with Allah, tagut, like the pharaohs were the taguts. The pharaohs were the people who proclaim themselves as being gods. So this is polytheism. That's their ideology. That's their methodology of their lifestyle, of what they lived upon. And the people had to follow suit, or else they would be put into jail or taken and tortured and so forth and forced upon, like the Bani Israel. And we're talking about that, as me and the brother was talking about Kyrie Irving and what came about with the controversy with that and the Bani Israel. And they're, it just opened. I'm not going to say can of worms, because can of worms makes it all negative, gives it a negative connotation. I'm going to say opened up like the Matrix. I like to use that. As an analogy. Matrix, the people were unplugged. Brother Kyrie Irving was unplugged. He was unplugged. But now, how do you utilize this being unplugged? How do you become this Neo? How do you become this leader of yourself and know yourself, thyself? and go forth into the world and do good for the people and awaken other people. So that's the point. Like Ye came a little too much reckless with it. And that's my own opinion of it. He came with the truth, but he came on a personal level with it too, and a bitterness because of what they did to him and how they did him in the industry. And then later on, look what they did. Now he's like really even somewhat reckless in certain aspects at certain times when he speaks. And he spoke on this guy, Alex, I can't remember his name. He has a show that's like more uncensored in his talks and stuff. And he's been censored and he's been canceled by, the cancel society, cancel community. And pretty much same happened with Ye, and Kyrie Irving. And so these guys have been promoting and pushing to try to bring a more of a different narrative about the Bani Israel and their people and the origins of who they were as far as a people, the nationalities and the different nations of the people upon the earth that spread out and happened to be in Africa, not just, it was only just European Hebrew Israelites or Jews, as they know today, coming from Russia or coming from Germany after the World War was over, and they were able to come, and then UN made agreements and so forth for them to take part in lands in where they are now, and not to get into the issues of it, but between the Palestinians and them. But it is what it is. The truths are out and they're coming out. So people got to understand that this is for a reason. This is for a reason. So the benefits of Kufr is like clearly shown through secularism, that these people have upheld only rulerships in their societies that were modernized. And that's all. But what they did is open themselves to be able to have open thinking, free thinking. And doesn't, just because you say free thinking doesn't constitute that it's always going to be for the betterment of mankind. But free thinking to go into so many different areas of thinking, like I spoke about what this sheikh was going into this book that I read, and how mankind today more than before refuses to submit to the messengers and their teachings because they are too proud of their knowledge and are too arrogant to follow men who lived centuries before them, right? Too arrogant. Today, the shaitan or Satan, and then we know that you got the Satanists, we know we got the Luciferians, we know we got these different occult groups and secret societies that get involved into the pushing out the existence of the Creator and bringing the existence of, now the Satanists want to push more the devil. He want to push Satan, and Shaitan. And Shaitan, he's a trickery guy. He fools everybody. A'udhu billah, may Allah protect us from him, and we seek refuge in Allah from him. That he whispers to the human beings, and those human beings that worship him don't even realize that he knows who God is. He knows who has control over all of this. But these people think that Satan got control of this. But anyway, he whispers into human minds, calling them to rebel against Allah and against the Sharia of Allah. So they all work together. Like I posted up these atheists. They all work. Why do you think they put that Satanist in the picture? And I'll post it again. Why do you think they put his picture in there? Because he's one of them as well. He's part of that association to call people away from God, away from the Creator, away from Allah, and call you to that. And the shaitan is behind it. You don't know that? As a Muslim, we have to know that. We should know that. And that's why the Sheikh brings this. Okay? So that's what Kufr is. It just continues you in a path that is going to lead to you where you're going to go down. You're eventually going to go down. Now, look at this, like I said, the free thinking. Okay, we think the free thinking and brings free thinking. Secularism brings free thinking. Atheism brings free thinking. And the free way, you don't get suppressed by man telling you got to live by laws, but yet they created laws. But they created laws with their intellect. They created laws in what they think is right or wrong, like the Sheikh mentioned in that book. Okay? And they tell you that they're right until they get proven wrong. And so now all of that you lived on gets proven wrong later on. And now you're like, what are we going to do now? Now we got to do something else. But if you stood on point with Tawheed and the Creator, what He brought us and gave us from His messengers and prophets, we would be okay. Because you see the societies that would flourish when they were doing that. Now, the Muslims that fell, of course, through times, is because they went into their desires. Like these societies that man create, this secular societies, atheist societies, to be focused on that they can do, and they controlling everything, right? And look at what they do. They create mass destruction. They create diseases that come across the world and harm the people in labs, even whether they was doing it as an experiment and it just got out by mistake, right? You know, without saying any names. But all these people got infected and died from it. You understand what I'm saying? They cause harms to the ecosystem. To now we're discussing an argumentation in different forums talking about the ecosystem and the climate changes on the earth and how it's affecting people. You have people out there protesting and marching about it right now because they're not able to you know help their farms or do the things that they used to do with their farming, because now there's legislation coming in from different governments around the world tell them now, and this is again mankind telling people what they need to do and what they're supposed to do, not following the guidance and the Sharia and the laws and the ways of the Creator, who knows what everything is needed and what needs to be done. Okay, like when this disease that went around the world, people were saying, what about natural healing, holistic medicine? Or they pounced on that, put that out, an association, an organization that without saying the names, no, and put it out in the world, and now you can't even mention that too much. Like that's why I wouldn't even mention it here, because even YouTube knock you off because you mentioned it, or something to pop up and tell you and warn you. You know, but these people controlling the world, tagut in a sense, right, that are basically people of disbelief, people who are atheists. Now they got plenty of celebrities that are as well, and I can post that as well, show you. Let me see if I can show you here. Actually, nah, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm just trying to save some time and give you guys some more content that you can enjoy. But anyway, I think this is good. And, you know, those of you who are still here with me, I appreciate you guys being here. But again, I'm going to give you a chance to come up, if any of you, before we leave and before we close out, that if anybody wants to come up and they want to present a position, or they want to, you know, question what I said in the questions, or what I said and mentioned in the talks, in the discussion, then so be it. Come on up, and I'll give you the panel time, and you can do so if you want to debate me or what have you. But I don't see that happening. And one thing that's funny that I would like to say is that, you know, I had been inspired to do this a while back and start doing these videos and debating and so forth. And I call them debating Saturdays. But the qadr Allah wa ma sha fa'ala. This is the will of Allah that I can't change. And you know, not having us like over 5 people in my live is the qadr of Allah. And I'm happy, I'm good, alhamdulillah, because I'm glad those who came, that they're benefiting. And that's my point. That's what I am. I'm about trying to benefit the people and bring truth to the matters that are at hand that we need to be seriously upon. Because when it comes to our soul, it's very important. Our soul is who we are. Our body is who we are. Our mind is the computer of our body and soul. Okay, is where we register all these things that we need to know and utilize in this life and make the proper maneuvers. But if it's not going to be in line with everything else, then we're going to be incorrect. So the Creator gives us that. Our existence has been balanced, and He's given us all this: the soul, the ruh, the body and the mind, the heart, the soul, the ruh, the body and the mind. He's given it all to work together. 5 senses. Some of us, our senses don't work fully like that. Some people have a lack or a disability of those senses, sight or hearing or so forth. But he makes it a more, he makes up for it and gives those people and more enhanced senses in the other areas, that which they're lacking. Look at that. You know, because it's just a test, it's a trial, and we get tested. So I would like to say thank you for listening. Don't forget to click the like button, and I'm going to close out, and subscribe to my channel, and get with your brother and keep it moving together. But again, if you don't get to finish this video because it's too long for you, then let it be saved for the next day or so and come back and finish it out. Okay, so thanks again. Peace and blessings, and keep up the lessons. Until next time, this is your brother Talib, from the Brother Talib Show. Subhanakallah hamdihi, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.